Imagine a country where crocodiles are not feared but honored with funerals, where a groom doesn't just pay a bride price once, but in small installments for the rest of his life, where even something as simple as honking your car horn after 9 p.m. could get you into trouble. Welcome to Burkina Faso, a hidden gem in West Africa, where traditions defy logic, taboos surprise outsiders, and daily life feels like stepping into another world. Here, men must make a lifelong choice, marry one woman forever, or embrace polygamy for good. Street markets aren't just stalls, they walk on the heads of vendors weaving through the crowd. And in some villages, people bathe not in water, but in hot desert sand. Buckle up, because today we're uncovering 15 shocking facts and taboos you'll only find in Burkina Faso. And trust me, number 12 will leave you speechless. Number 15. One wife for life, or many. In Burkina Faso, marriage comes with a big decision, one that's legally binding forever. When a man marries for the first time, he must declare whether he chooses monogamy or polygamy. Once declared, there's no turning back. If he chooses monogamy, he can never take another wife, not even after divorce or the death of his spouse. If he chooses polygamy, he may marry more wives later, but only under strict conditions: financial stability, fairness among all wives, and the first wife's right to object if she feels neglected. This commitment from the start law is still very much alive today, with over 36% of families in Burkina Faso living in polygamous households. Marriage registrars even have the power to reject a marriage if they suspect coercion, something many countries don't strictly enforce. So, if your country had this system, what would you choose? One wife forever, or the option for more? Number 14. The village where people and crocodiles are best friends. Just 18 miles west of Ouagadougou lies Bazoule, a village that feels like a real-life fairy tale. Here, over 100 crocodiles live peacefully in a central pond. No fences, no guards, and no attacks for more than 70 years. The story dates back to the 14th century, when a devastating drought struck the region. According to legend, local women followed crocodiles and discovered a hidden pond that saved the village. From that day, crocodiles became sacred, believed to be reincarnated ancestors and protectors of the community. Every year, the villagers celebrate the Crocodiles festival, offering food to the crocodiles and praying for good harvests. Some elders even claim to predict the future by listening to crocodile calls. These are not the fierce Nile crocodiles you might expect. They're desert crocodiles, smaller and far less aggressive. Raised in a community that feeds them, calls them by name, and never harms them, they've grown unusually tame. Number 13. The noble village built from cow dung. Welcome to Tiabele, a small village just 12 miles north of the Ghana border, where cow dung isn't waste, it's the foundation of stunning royal mansions. Home to around 450 people, Tiabele is inhabited by the Kasena, an ethnic group that has lived here since the 15th century. Their houses, called sukala, are made from a mix of mud, straw, and cow dung, then hand-painted with intricate black, red, and white designs. These patterns are more than decoration, they are prayers on walls. Crocodiles and snakes represent power and protection. The moon, stars, and mythical creatures symbolize harvests, wisdom, and rebirth. Each year, after harvest season in February or March, about 15 women are chosen to repaint the walls using natural pigments: charcoal for black, red earth for red, and limestone chalk for white. To protect the art, they brush on a special oil made from local beans, helping the designs last for years. Tiabele isn't just a village, it's a royal compound. Round houses are for singles, octagonal ones for elders, and rectangular homes for couples. Doors are small, windows almost non-existent, shielding the interiors from the burning sun and potential intruders. Inside, you'll find simple clay furniture and neatly arranged household items. Number 12. The left hand taboo. If you're left-handed, life in Burkina Faso might be challenging. Here, the left hand isn't just less preferred, it's considered untween and disrespectful in social settings. Among the Masi, Gurunsi, and Bwa ethnic groups, the left hand is linked to personal hygiene and bad deeds. The right hand, on the other hand, represents honor, respect, and purity. Giving money, food, or even a handshake with your left hand can offend someone instantly, especially elders and village chiefs. A survey by the Ouagadougou Institute of Anthropology found that over 90% of Burkinabe feel directly insulted if handed something with the left hand. Even children born left-handed are trained from a young age to use their right hand for greetings, eating, and giving or receiving items. In the past, schools would even tie a child's left hand behind their back while writing or eating, forcing them to adapt to cultural etiquette. So, if you visit Burkina Faso, remember the right hand is always the right choice. Number 11. Frequent power and internet shortages. If you think a 15-minute blackout is frustrating, imagine living in a place where having electricity at all is considered a luxury. In Burkina Faso, only 56% of urban residents have regular access to power, and in rural areas, that number plummets to just 1%. That means over 17 million people, nearly the entire rural population, spend their nights in darkness. No lights, no TV, no Wi-Fi, and no way to charge a phone. The country has one of the lowest electrification rates in the world, relying heavily on imported power from Ivory Coast and Ghana. Outages lasting 2 to 12 hours happen 3 to 5 times a week. Internet access is even more limited. In many villages, it's virtually non-existent. Even in the capital, Ouagadougou, Wi-Fi is slow, costly, and averages just 2 to 5 megabits per second, barely enough to stream a video or hold a video call. Number 10. Africa's biggest film festival. When most people imagine Burkina Faso, they think of farmland and dry landscapes, not red carpets and movie premieres. But Ouagadougou, the capital, is the beating heart of African cinema. Since 1969, it has hosted FESPACO, the Pan-African Film and Television Festival of Ouagadougou, the largest film festival in Africa. Every 2 years, it brings together filmmakers, producers, actors, journalists, and cinema lovers from all 54 African countries and beyond. The event now draws more than 100,000 attendees, screening over 200 films across theaters and outdoor venues throughout the city. From dramas and documentaries to animations and experimental shorts, it's a celebration of African storytelling in all its forms. The festival's top prize, the Étalon d'Or de Yenenga, or Golden Stallion of Yenenga, is considered Africa's version of the Oscar. It's named after Princess Yenenga, a legendary warrior and founding mother of the Masi people, who make up over half of Burkina Faso's population. Number 9. Don't touch someone's hair. In Burkina Faso, hair is far more than a style. It's considered the home of the soul. Among the Masi and Gurunsi people, hair acts as a spiritual antenna, connecting a person to their ancestors. Women here take great pride in elaborate hairstyles, often spending 4 to 6 hours braiding patterns that reveal age, marital status, and even social standing. Some women only braid their hair during a new moon, believing it brings good fortune and strengthens ancestral bonds. Because of this deep cultural meaning, touching someone's head, especially a woman's or a child's, is seen as a serious violation of personal space. Even friendly gestures like ruffling a child's hair or admiring a braid can be considered deeply disrespectful. Number 8. Bathing without water. In the dry Sahel region of Burkina Faso, where temperatures often soar above 104 degrees Fahrenheit, 40 degrees Celsius, and water is as precious as gold, locals have developed a unique hygiene tradition, sand bathing. When water is scarce or needed for cooking and farming, people use hot, sun-warmed sand to clean themselves. They pour it over their bodies, rubbing it into the skin to remove sweat, dirt, and dead cells. The process works much like an exfoliating scrub, while also giving a soothing, massage-like effect. Some even bury themselves in heated sand to relax muscles, ease aches, and warm up on cool desert nights. A practice similar to luxury sand spas in resorts, but here it's entirely traditional and free. Anthropologists have documented sand bathing in several semi-desert communities, noting that locals also believe placing hot sand on the stomach can aid digestion and promote overall health. Number 7. The least urbanized society in Africa. While much of Africa is racing toward urbanization, with cities expanding, skyscrapers rising, and metros under construction, Burkina Faso moves at a slower, almost timeless pace. Here, nearly 80% of the population, about 17 million people, live in rural areas, relying on subsistence farming. They farm not to sell, but to survive. Each harvest is measured in meals for the year, not market profits. Families grow enough corn, millet, or sorghum to eat, raise a few goats or chickens, and bring any surplus to the village market to trade for salt, oil, or soap. But this simple life faces constant challenges: poor soil from drought, advancing desertification, and swarms of locusts that can destroy a season's work in a single day. Economic pressures add to the struggle. For example, U.S. cotton subsidies drive down global prices, making it nearly impossible for Burkina Faso's cotton farmers to earn a fair living. Number 6. No honking after 9 p.m. In Burkina Faso, nighttime silence isn't just a preference, it's the law. In the capital, Ouagadougou, and traditional towns like Bobo-Dioulasso, honking your car horn after 9 p.m. can get you fined, sometimes up to $250. This rule is deeply rooted in Mossi cultural beliefs. Nighttime is when ancestors are thought to pass through villages, and loud, sudden noises are believed to disturb their presence. A late-night honk could startle an elder, wake a child, or, as tradition holds, disrupt the balance between the living and the spiritual world. Some villages even have night patrols, whose job is to maintain the peace after dark. The quiet runs so deep that over 150 radio stations across the country shut down after 10 p.m., leaving only the sounds of insects, distant drums, and the wind through the millet fields. In Burkina Faso, the night belongs to the ancestors, and silence is sacred. Number 5. The indigenous aliens of West Africa. On the dramatic cliffs of the Bandiagara Plateau, where homes cling to the rock face and narrow paths wind through ancient terrain, lives the Dogon people, a community whose traditions stretch back thousands of years. Their mud brick cliff dwellings are remarkable, but what has astonished the world is their advanced astronomical knowledge. Long before telescopes were invented, the Dogon knew that Sirius, the brightest star in our night sky, is not a single star, but part of a binary, possibly even a triple star system. They spoke of Sirius B, an invisible companion star that orbits Sirius A every 50 years, a fact NASA only confirmed in the 1970s using modern technology. Even more mysteriously, they describe the size, weight, and elliptical path of this white dwarf star with uncanny accuracy. The Dogon say this knowledge was given to their ancestors by the Nomo, amphibious, fish-like beings who came to Earth from Sirius in a spiral-shaped ship. Number 4. Installment plan weddings. In many countries, installment payments are for houses, cars, or phones. But in Burkina Faso, they can also apply to marriage. Among the Mossi and Garunsi people, a wedding and the bride price aren't settled all at once. Instead, the groom begins with a symbolic deposit, perhaps a chicken, a bundle of millet, corn liquor, or a stack of firewood, given to the bride's family. The rest is paid in annual installments, usually after each harvest. Year after year, the groom delivers rice, peanuts, goats, or whenever he can afford to his in-laws. There are no official receipts or contracts. The payments are a living reminder. I remember my commitment, and I still care for your daughter. Elders say this system strengthens bonds between families. In-law relationships don't end with the wedding, they continue to grow. And if trouble arises in the marriage, the bride's parents can claim the bride price isn't fully paid and either mediate or bring their daughter home. Number 3. Mobile markets on heads. In Burkina Faso, you don't go to the market comes to you. No pickup trucks, no delivery apps, no neon-lit 24-hour stores. Here, an entire shop fits neatly into a single basket, expertly balanced on the head of a street vendor. These walking supermarkets weave through villages, fields, and dusty crossroads like moving works of art. Inside those baskets, a miniature world, sweet fruits, buckets of dried fish, sizzling meat skewers, even tea stalls complete with a charcoal kettle. And every step is guided with a subtle tilt of the head, as natural as breathing. But it's not just the goods, it's the performance. Vendors don't rely on flashy signs or loudspeakers. Their voices carry the charm. "Oranges as sweet as first love," one might sing. Or, "Buy these mangoes, sister, and your skin will glow." Some vendors dance, others mimic children's voices, all to make you smile. Number 2. Music in the nation's veins. Picture a dawn in a red earth village. The air is still, no car horns, no electronics, only the deep wooden tones of the balafon, a traditional xylophone drifting between thatched roofs. Children beat djembes with tiny hands, learning rhythm before they can even write their names. Here, music isn't a hobby, it's a birthright. Across more than 60 ethnic groups, music binds the nation together. The balafon, kora, and goni aren't museum pieces. They're living voices at weddings, funerals, coming-of-age rituals, and every gathering in between. Griots, the oral historians, are so respected they're tax-exempt, seated at the place of honor during ceremonies. And tradition runs deep. A single wrong drumbeat at a wedding can stop the celebration in its tracks. Under revolutionary leader Thomas Sankara, folk songs even became a tool for political change, spreading ideas to people who could not read but could listen. Today, Burkina Faso's 150-plus radio stations still play traditional tunes, folk tales, and even farming tips sung as melodies. Number 1. You can't name your child however you want. In some tribes of Burkina Faso, naming a child isn't just a parent's decision, it's a sacred tradition. Among the Mossi, Bwali, and Garuni people, the honor often belongs to paternal grandparents, clan elders, or even a shaman. In ancient rituals, a shaman may perform a soul-calling ceremony, reaching into the spirit world to discover the child's true name. Here, a name isn't just a word, it's destiny. It can reveal the child's character, role in society, and even their future. If a baby is born right after the death of a family member, they might be named Kusubet, meaning the one who replaces the lost soul. Born during harvest, the name might be Sorgo, symbolizing ripe grain and prosperity. Some tribes even name children based on the day of the week they were born. For example, Pokar might mean born on Wednesday. But there are strict rules. No naming a child after someone who's just died, and no overly ambitious names, which are believed to invite jealousy or misfortune.